There are stories that connect us to ourselves and each other. These stories reveal who we are and show us the many vivid, wild colors of our truth. Welcome to Soul Wanderings, where we raise spiritual awareness and foster connections through these shared stories and personal experiences. And now, exclusively on KGRA Radio, I give you your host for Soul Wanderings Radio. Here's AJ.
Hello, Wanderers. I am AJ, just like the intro said, and this is Soul Wanderings. And we're here live tonight on KGRADB.com. You can also find us on video on YouTube and Facebook under KGRA Digital Broadcasting. There are chat rooms on every platform. Please join us in the conversation while we visit with our newest guest this evening. And because it is such a beautiful guest, I am lacking words, but beautiful. His essence, his energy is just enchanting, if I do say so myself. We're going to take the entire 2 hours to wander with our guest tonight. For nearly 20 years, our guest, Walter Zajac, has been hailed as one of the best psychics on the West Coast. He's an acclaimed psychic medium, certified tarot reader, an NLP coach, Reiki master, and love coach. And he has empowered and guided thousands through enlightening psychic readings and inspiring coaching and healing sessions globally. He has a ton of experience in 12 different countries, and it's just given him a great insight into people's cultures and commonalities and personalities and more. Plus, our guest tonight has written a book, and it is called They Came Beyond Deja Vu, which is a collection of his own personal experiences that he has been inspired to share with all of us. And tonight we get the opportunity to hear from him and visit with our guest, Walter. Welcome to Soul Wanderings, dear.
Thank you, AJ. It's awesome to be here. I'm honored, and I love the theme of your show is all about allowing people to show their own vulnerability in order to inspire others to show theirs. For me, vulnerability, showing our vulnerability is love. You can't get close to anybody, whether it's a friend or love relationship, even your boss, without showing your vulnerability. And I've noticed that usually when we show our own, people will respond with vulnerability, and then we feel safe. So it's an honor to be here because of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being comfortable enough to be vulnerable with us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I know it takes courage to do so and to show up in this way and have this organic, beautiful conversation that we're going to be having together for the next 2 hours. I feel honored and completely blessed to have you here in this space with us.
Thank you.
And I've really been looking forward to hearing about your life and your experiences. So this will just be wonderful. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
So we'll get to all of the things that you do as far as being an author and Reiki practitioner and NLP coach and all of those great things that you're doing in the world. But first, in your words, would you mind sharing with us a little bit about yourself? Who is Walter? Big question.
It's a pretty open-ended question. It's interesting that the book, you said it's a collection of my experiences. It's actually my story. I wrote it as a novel to protect the privacy of people involved. But every scene in the book happened to me. And so that is essentially who Walter Zajac is. The book starts when I was 6 years old, which was 11 years after World War II had ended. And this was in war-torn Germany, where, according to research by, Exeter University, 36 cities in Germany were anywhere from 85 to 95% leveled at the end of the war by British and American bombers, because the Nazis were hiding munitions factories, tank factories, and you name it among the population, and that was the only choice. But this resulted in devastation. And even 11 years after the war, half of my city was still just shells of buildings and bombed debris, right? Or there's another word. Piles of rubble, that's the word I was looking for. And take the bus to downtown, and you would drive block after block after block of just devastation. And so the point is, Germany was exceedingly poor at the time. Devastation, so many widows. The population of my city went from 236,000 down to 50,000 in 6 years' time at the end of the war. So very difficult times. And I was 6. I had a older half brother, half sister. Lived with my mother and father. My father was not married to my mother, and he was a pretty severe alcoholic wife beater. And I was excited because I was getting to go on a train ride. And because I had an older brother and sister who got to do all kinds of stuff I never got to do, this was cool. Fun, right? And the Red Cross lady took me on the train ride, and I just had the best time of my life for a couple of hours. And then at the end of the train ride, a long walk through the country, I came to a place called orphanage, which was a word I'd never heard before. And the headmistress there told me I would never go home again. And devastated beyond belief, just incomprehensible, and the ultimate losing of one's power and not understanding. And years later, of course, I did figure out why. Intellectually, I could understand what happened, but as a 6-year-old at the time, it was just utter devastation, which led then to a lot of years of seeing myself as a victim, seeing myself as powerless. After a year there, I was adopted by an American military couple who actually were abusive. Things got from bad to worse. Within weeks, I was being spanked so severely that it drew blood on my bottom. And so what happened, though, at the time was, all of my life, I have been aware of psychic experiences, even though I didn't see myself as a psychic. And I'm sure that you know this from your own experience. When most of us have a psychic event or awareness, we're not aware necessarily that it's psychic. It's just normal. It's just a part of our everyday stuff. And I had 2 imaginary friends who lived in the spirit world and with whom I constantly shared interaction, and about whom I saw details of a very traumatic event that happened in each of their lives, which then connected us. But what was beautiful about it is that I was able to take these imaginary friends with me to the orphanage, because in the orphanage it was pretty hard, pretty lonely. And then the book is about the fact that, going through what happened and the experience and how I ended up finding my power gradually. But then when I was 44, I actually met both these imaginary friends in real life. They became real women in my life, which to me was a what? Like, also complete disbelief. And then, because I had been living my life from a victim's perspective, my first feeling was, oh my God, the universe is messing with me. What is this? I don't get it. How is it possible? And in each case, I'll mention one specifically. The accident girl is what I call her. Maria is her name in the book. And I would see this horrific accident that she had over and over and over in detail. I would see what happened. I would see her in spirit above her body in the truck cabin. I saw her spirit above her body in surgery. I went on a near-death experience with her, a shared near-death experience. And I saw the day that the bandages were taken off of her disfigured face. And when I met this person, and I'll make it brief for now, maybe go into detail later, but when I met her, I made her laugh one day. It was somebody I had been speaking to for years. I was in a day job at the time, had given up music, and I was speaking to this lady for years who was the receptionist at a company. I was calling people with prices, and one day I made her laugh, and we connected and started talking personally. And after a few weeks, she told me, I have to confess something. I was in a horrific accident, and my face is all messed up. And she started telling me the story of her accident, and I finished the story. And then over the next few weeks, I told her 5 things that she had never told another human, because I had seen these things over and over and over since my earliest memories. And then, initially there was this recognition, like people have the deja vu experience of, haven't I always known you? And feelings of familiarity, and excitement and amazement. But then, especially after I told her things she had never told anybody, she, and then eventually the other one too, went to a place of feeling emotionally violated, wondering if I had ill intentions, if I was just a creepy dude, wondering if I was nuts, crazy. And then, of course, because I didn't know where to put this, I thought maybe I was nuts. How is this even possible? And the wonderful thing is, it led me at that time, finally at 44 years old, after hearing friends say, dude, you need some help for a lot of years, going to a psychologist. And that changed everything, learning how to feel my own power, take my own power, and love Walter.
Yeah. The journey of loving yourself.
Yeah.
We'll have to get into that. It's such a neat journey.
Yeah.
Well, I asked you who Walter is, and you gave me a synopsis of your life story. It's a lot to digest all at once, and I know there's a lot more to it than that. If you were to share with us who you are as a person now, not who you've been or where you've been, does anything come to mind for you?
Yeah, I'm a person that empowers people. That's who I am. That's what makes me thrive, what makes me happy, what thrills me. And I work, like you said in the intro, for the last 20 years, I've been working full time as a psychic, and my handle online is the Empowerment Psychic, because in every session, my whole purpose is to give my client information and inspiration and understanding about themselves and about their path, which will then allow them to make the choices that lead them to their empowerment and their happiness.
Yes. See, that's what I was hoping to hear. All of your past, all of your history, for us to just hear that and quickly, we already have comments in the chat room like, I'm so sorry, and that's so sad, but there's so much more to you than what you've been through, the experiences that you've had. The person you are today was created from those places, but it's not who you are. You've taken the wheel to your own life and gone a different direction, which is one of my favorite things to talk about. I love the journey story. And we were talking a little bit about this before the show began, how, where we once were, sometimes it is traumatic and sometimes it's really sad, but it brings you to these places, if you choose to allow it to do so, that are like where you're at, empowering other people, where I'm at, and assisting others in their healing, and giving them a platform to share their story to help other people. And I love how it just comes around full circle. Unfortunately, we go through these experiences in our lives that can be traumatic or challenging, or however we choose to look at that. But they are little blessing in disguises where you go through something hard, but you come out of it different. Hopefully you learned something that made you a stronger, healthier, happier person at the end of it.
Absolutely. And I think that you're alluding to this, and that is that if I hadn't had those experiences, I would be useless in trying to help anybody else who's gone through trauma. So yes,
To a
I
certain
talked about
degree, absolutely.
pardon me, say it again.
To a certain degree, absolutely.
And why only to a certain degree?
Because I don't believe for myself that we have to go through something traumatic to show up for someone else who's gone through something traumatic, because trauma is different for everybody. It's different levels for everybody. What I may consider traumatic, someone else will be like, oh, that's nothing. I've been through this and it was so much more traumatic. Even though, it's all in the eyes of the beholder, right?
Mm-hmm. So,
As you were saying.
well, just for me, the experiences that I did have, and I understand your point, but what I have found in my work in 20 years is that I am so much more effective in helping other people who, and maybe it's just my clientele, but my observation is, and I think you touched on this, that pretty much everybody's gone through trauma of some kind or another. I've never met anybody that doesn't, on some level, have some pretty extreme pain, at least in their past, if not now, or in their memories. And so for me, having been through this, I help people on. You keep calling it a journey. I help people on their journey. My goal, my thrill, like I mentioned, is to help people find their power. And I suppose I could do it without having experienced this. But for me, what I've noticed is the fact that I experienced it gives me credibility with other people.
I agree with that.
And I wouldn't change it, because I wouldn't be the person that I am unless I had experienced that.
I'll agree with you on that. I feel the exact same way. I know, before I started this journey that I'm currently on, that what I'm doing now was completely not on my radar.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself, let alone help somebody else. And the fact that I am in the place that I am now, where I own a spiritual healing center and have a spiritual radio show, and I do all the beautiful things in between that assist others, I know I could not show up the way that I do have I had not gone through what I've gone through. And it sounds very cliche when I say it out loud, and I hear other people say it and I'm like, yeah, I know. But the fact of the matter is it is what it is. It's still the same. How I show up for others is because I empathize with them and I understand in my own way what they're experiencing. And I also feel it because I'm such a deep feeler.
Well, you're empathic, right?
Yeah.
And I read in your bio that people had been coming to you for years, just telling you really deep personal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't understand why until you realized that, oh, it's because you're empathic and people just feel safe with you because you are feeling it with them. And that's beautiful.
Yeah. I know that to be beautiful now.
And it wasn't then, huh?
I
Yeah.
thought I was crazy before.
Yeah. Well, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, you probably understand that completely, where you were so young having these abilities you didn't understand. And as you grew older, still not comprehending quite the capacity of the gift that you carry, it probably made you feel all sorts of ways that you were losing your mind or emotionally unstable or however that was for you. I know for me, I felt nuts and people told me I was, and I believed them because that's how, I felt. And
Yeah.
how did it feel for you until you knew that there was something bigger going on?
I was defiant. Actually,
Mhm.
I mentioned it a few minutes ago that good friends had told me for years, dude, you need some help, right? Because they had noticed in my responses that things overwhelmed me too easily, that I didn't have my power, that I was just way too sensitive, which then allowed me to feel or be defeated too easily. And realizing that like I said, I felt defiant, but realizing that I couldn't figure it out on my own anymore was what's that word? Humiliating in a way. And then just going to a place of realizing that I am messed up. I should really could use some help. Just to admit that was huge. But then it's the best thing I ever did for myself. I recommend to everybody to work with a psychologist because it's like taking private lessons in how to live life. And we don't get that anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Private
don't feel
lessons
like
in how
we
to have a relationship with yourself and a relationship with others. Excuse me, I interrupted.
No, no apologies. We're having a conversation. It's so hard to do on radio, I believe, just because, there are pauses and things like that. I feel like I interrupt often, but I don't. It's definitely not my intention.
Good.
I'm glad that you decided for yourself to seek assistance in your mental and emotional health. I'm a big advocate for those who make that choice for themselves. And not only that, the journey to loving yourself, because that opens so many doors and possibilities. I'm on the journey myself still currently. I believe it's a daily practice for me. And I get so inspired by people like you that have gone so much further than I have. My journey is, still, I mean, it's 10 years in the making, very long in comparison, but put comparisons aside, the fact is that I'm on it. And you inspire me to want to continue that process because of where you've been and how far you've come. And
Thank you.
how far you're going to go based on what little I know so far.
Thank you. Yeah, I've lived a lot of years. I'm older than you, but I still feel like, gosh, I'm just getting started. And I totally get it. What you're saying, that I don't believe I will ever stop growing, and I don't want to. I don't want to. I want to continue to increase my understanding, and that seems to be one of the reasons that we're here, to understand, to experience and understand why we're here on the physical plane. I mean,
Yeah, as a human.
yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, let's get into that. I'm excited about that conversation. I'm always interested in hearing how others feel about this human experience and what the purpose is. And for the sake of time, because we're going into commercial break in a couple of minutes, I don't really want to even dip our toes into that water quite yet.
Okay.
But because we have another minute, we're going to get into your journey story a little bit further here because, like I said, we're here wandering with you the entire show. Thank you again for your time in doing that. I love deep diving. This will be wonderful. We've only heard just a blip about your life and your experiences. And I know you have so many nuggets of wisdom to share with us. In the meantime, though, while we're going to commercial break and throughout the show, I do want people to be able to know where they can get in touch with you and learn a little bit more about you and have an opportunity to ask you questions in the chat room. So, everyone, if you are wanting to ask questions for our guest, make sure you're joining us on KGRA Digital Broadcast YouTube, Facebook, or on kgradb.com. Also, Walter has a book that you can find on Amazon. They Came Beyond Deja Vu, which we will get to talk more about when we return from the break. And we'll do that now. So stay close. And when we return, we'll continue our wandering with Walter Zajac.
Hey members, the new KGRA-DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA-DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA-DB.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Welcome to the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, thekgradb.com. Here you'll find great new content, including the KGRA classics, great shows from our archives. You'll be able to see the show times and information so you can see what show is currently on air. The on-air live button. So just go to this section and you'll be able to hear the show live with exceptional sound quality. We also have the Vault section. Make sure to subscribe to get access to great content and special features. We have the make content for our latest news and events, so make sure to sign up and you can be part of our forum. So make sure to check out the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, thekgradb.com. We look forward to seeing you there, and we hope that you enjoy the new website.
Hello, welcome back to Soul Wanderings, heard here on KGRADB.com. I am your host, AJ, and tonight we are visiting with our special guest, Walter Zajac. He is the author of They Came Beyond Deja Vu, which is a personal collection of his own experiences in life that he is sharing with all of us and going to inspire us all. I just know it. I'm already inspired. It feels really good. If you're joining us, welcome. Joining us live, I should say. Welcome. Live radio, it's so good. We can't cut anything out. I just get to go on and say things that make very little sense. But here we are, and thank you for hanging in there with me. Welcome back, Walter. Thank you for being here. I'm going to thank you an infinite amount of times just because I'm so happy to have you here. I've been looking forward to our time together ever since you came into my awareness. So your story is, it's big. It's really big. From such a young age of leaving a home that you were familiar with to going into the unknown. I'm sure a lot of feelings and emotions came up for you at 6 years old. You couldn't quite understand or comprehend as an adult. I'm sure you've done a lot of deep work into healing all of that. And from what little I know about you, I know that you have a practice that you do with your clients that I also like to do with mine, and that is going back to our younger selves and having conversations and hugs and affirmations with them that you do get through this, and look what you become, and all of the things to heal and love that version of yourself in different time. Do you want to walk us through that experience? Because obviously our listeners, not all of them are going to be familiar with you or the practices that you do. This one I thought was so amazing. When I worked through my childhood experiences, and it's why I share so much with my clients, because it has such a profound and an amazing effect and healing experience for every single person who has gone through it. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. I've got an echo now. Now it's gone. Okay. It's the thing that changed my life was learning to love little Walter. And it's what I do in essentially every session. My handle in my business is the empowerment psychic, because I want to bring a sense of empowerment and self-love and happiness, information, inspiration for people to find their happiness in every session. And that almost always involves learning how to love 5-year-old little you, because when we are 5 years old and younger, we're the wisest we will ever be. I've heard that. I counted it at one point from over 20 different psychics, both people who were famous and or people doing the work like you and I are doing, that we are the wisest we will ever be when we're 5 years old and younger, because we're still in tune with where we came from, with the spirit world. And we do things, are aware of things, have information that adults don't have anymore because adults have suppressed that. And when we're 5 years old, most of us are still just very, very sweet and precious and innocent, and we want nothing more than just to be loved. And for most of us, we don't get enough love. Most of us, that seems to be the most common pattern on our planet, this planet. And so one of the techniques that I do in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, is actually something that my psychologist did with me back when I went into therapy 20-some years ago. And that is, I put 5-year-old AJ on your lap and have you just put your arms around her with her back towards you, and you're feeling her, and you can put your cheek on top of her head, and you smell her hair, and you smell what her skin feels like, and the wisp of her hair blowing against your face, and you feel her heart beating against your chest, and you feel the warmth of her body, and you feel, oh my God, what a precious, sweet, innocent, beautiful little soul. And so in this exercise, it takes 20, 30 minutes where from various angles, first you being there for little AJ, and then you being little AJ sitting on adult AJ's lap and feeling that love, feeling that attention, feeling that reassurance. And then you being little AJ and looking at adult AJ and realizing, oh my God, look how far we've come. Look how far we've come. Look what you did. Look what you survived. And putting that together really allows people to realize that, oh my God, I was beautiful. And for me, one of the things that I encourage people to do, and that I found super hard for years and years, was to look Walter in the eyes in the mirror and say, I love you, Walter. Couldn't do it. I could not do it because I had heard so many awful things about him growing up, and that had been reaffirmed because I recreated it with my outlook on life over and over. That, yeah, I wasn't worthy of being loved. Why would I love me, right? But then once I saw little Walter, then I realized I can look into adult Walter's eyes and see little Walter's eyes. And the moment I do that, I love him. I love him.
Yes, it gives you a much different perspective into loving yourself because we are so, so hard
Yeah.
on ourselves. We
Big
critique
time.
every little thing emotionally, mentally, physically. We're
Yeah.
all guilty of it. And somewhere along the way, we forget that not only are we capable of loving ourselves, that we are love. It's a
Yeah.
remembering of coming back to that place.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that firmly. We are love. My perception of things, my understanding is that there's only one force, and the Chinese call it chi, the Hindus call it prana, and you can call it love, you can call it spirit, but there's only one force, and the absence of that force, the absence of good, the absence of love is all the negative stuff that we perceive. I don't believe there are two forces. I don't believe there are two gods, a devil and a different god, the God working against each other. I don't believe it works that way. I believe that evil comes from the absence of love, the absence of good. And it's there, it's real. But my favorite analogy is you can't put darkness in a box and open the box and fill the room with darkness. Doesn't work, doesn't happen. The way to get rid of darkness is to turn on the light, open the window so the sun comes in. But how do you create darkness? You block the light. And it's, in my observation, it's the same with how the universe works. There is only love. God, creation, the universe is love, and the absence of love is the evil that we see on this planet.
Yeah. Big contrast. And right now, I mean, there's always been evil. You experienced it growing up. People experience it even today. The acknowledgement that it's there is very present. I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
How do you navigate through that evil with your bright and shiny light? How does that work out for you?
First of all, to bring in the good. In other words, if the room is dark, turn on the light, open the window if it's a sunny day. And for me, then the concept is focusing on what makes me happy, focusing on what is love, focusing on that in other people, focusing on that in what I expose myself to, whether it's a TV show or a movie or driving by an accident. I don't want to see the gore. I don't want to expose myself to stuff that's really, really hard. And so, I suppose people could see that as, well, that's a pretty Pollyanna attitude. And yet what I have observed is the only thing that we have is now. Now, you can't be happy or have any power or make a choice for 2:31 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. The only time you can do that is when 2:31 p.m. tomorrow is now. And now is, since that's the only time we have power or influence or choices, then my observation is most people, if not all people, we want to be happy. Please let me be happy. And if all we ever have is now, then the key to being happy is have fun now. Have fun now. No matter what you're doing, figure out a way to make it fun. Even if it's cleaning a bathtub, doing the dishes, the toilet, make it fun, figure out a way. And the best way to make things fun, to have a good attitude about life, is gratitude. Gratitude. Gratitude is the antidote to emotional pain. Gratitude is the antidote to fear. If you can find something to be grateful about in a particular situation, then your heart stays open. And then when your heart's open, you have the insight and the wisdom to make good choices. Plus, you're having a better time.
I agree. I know a lot of things for me personally shifted when I came from a foundation of gratitude, from a state of gratitude. Everything shifted, including my past. You, like we were saying, a lot of people have gone through traumatic experiences or challenging experiences, and those are able to be shift when you change the vibration of the experience to gratitude, to
Yeah.
love, to a higher vibrational emotion. Those heavier energies become less. And gratitude is one of the biggest ones, I would agree.
Another thing that helps me in my journey, my effort to be happy all the time, and truly, I have achieved that. I don't have bad days anymore. I haven't had bad days for years because of that very thing, choosing to find something to have fun with at the moment, any particular moment, choosing happiness instead of instead of remembering what happened to me and being miserable about it, be glad that it happened to me because it showed me how to find happiness and strength.
Yes.
But one of the things that really helps me is it's something that a lot of modern spiritual works emphasize, and it's something that was definitely emphasized in the series of books called Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch. And that is our true essence. Well, first of all, every major religion and pretty much every tribal religion on our planet has some concept to the effect that we were created in the image and likeness of the Creator, that we are creators. We're here to create. And that if we're created in the image and likeness of the Creator, then at least potentially we have all the qualities that the Creator has, which would be all beautiful, all loving, all knowing, you name it. And yet we don't have a framework for understanding what true beauty is. Our true essence is beautiful if we're just like God, Goddess, the universe. And yet, how do we know what that really is unless we have a framework within which to understand it, which is the opposite?
Yeah.
The opposite, ugliness. Unless you've seen ugliness, you don't really have a genuine or deep appreciation of beauty. And it's the same with happiness. Unless you've experienced misery, you don't really have a beautiful appreciation and understanding of happiness. And it's even the same as, okay, we are created in the image and likeness of the Creator, and we exist. And yet, how do we really know what it is to exist unless we know what it is to not exist? Which is what happens in this physical life. We die, right? Even though, no, we don't, right? And yet it's out there as, oh no, what's going to happen, right? And so the purpose of physical life for me is to experience the contrast so that we have a better understanding of who we truly are, so that we can bring that to each other, help each other, build each other up, and hopefully make a better world. And yet, my observation is throughout the millennia, it's not here to be heaven on earth. We're here to experience that contrast, and boy, do we get a lot of it.
Yeah, exactly. We do. And I believe that also what you're sharing with us, that our human experience is a school of sorts, and not only a school, but also a place for us to have experiences to bring us closer to that God energy that you're referring to.
Yeah.
Clearing up all the muck, if you will, getting rid of those lower vibrational thoughts and patterns and behaviors and things like that, because they're not useful to us when we're in a higher state of consciousness.
Another thing that has helped me is the concept that when we look at our lives, we are the happiest when we have overcome a challenge of some kind. We feel so good about ourselves, so powerful, so happy, and we love everybody. It's the most beautiful point in our lives. And yet, relatively quickly, in terms of the broader scope of things, we get bored with what we've achieved. And subconsciously or consciously, we choose a new challenge to overcome. And when we overcome it, we are the happiest we'll ever be because we've accomplished this and we love everybody. And one of my favorite concepts is I've done, part of my work is being a psychic medium, helping people tune into deceased loved ones. And so in that interest, I've also read a lot of books about near-death experiences. And one of my favorites, first of all, the research that's been done on near-death experiences, the two prominent ones are Dr. Raymond Moody, who's been doing this, I think, since the 70s, and also just as long, Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. What is found in their research is that no matter what country, religion, language, culture that somebody comes from, their experiences in their near-death experiences on the other side are pretty consistently the same. And one of my favorites is a man named Daniel Brinkley, who wrote 3 books because 3 times he died and came back to life. 3 times.
Wow.
And he has spent a total of 2 hours on the other side. And after the first time, he decided to consciously pay attention, realizing that, oh my God, I'm here again, right? And paying attention to the details. And that's one of the things that he brought back, is that, yeah, we're here to overcome these challenges, just to experience it, to understand. And he says that every time we overcome a challenge, not only do we feel so good because we uplifted ourselves, but we literally uplift the entirety of creation too, because we contribute to the overall knowledge, overall knowledge of life, of the mass consciousness.
That's interesting. I'm going to soak in that for a moment.
Okay.
It's a different perspective. It hasn't really come into my awareness yet. Going back a little bit, you being a psychic medium, I've had several psychic mediums on the show. I have a couple on regularly who take calls and things like that.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite abilities, gifts, however you choose to look at it. It's so beautiful when someone can tap into that energy or have a reunion with their deep true selves, because I believe that we all have that ability if we learn how to tap into it. When you were younger, you were having those experiences and not knowing what they were. What was a moment that you remember in your lifetime that was so profound to you? Like, you know what? I'm not crazy. I have this ability, or I have this gift, and all of the possibilities of what you could do with it.
It was when I met my 2 imaginary friends in person, when I realized that I didn't understand and that I had been living my life as a victim and I needed some help. And the psychologist that I ended up with is the daughter of a Toltec shaman. And maybe people know in your audience, a Toltec shaman is an ancient tradition, goes back thousands of years, maybe 10,000 in Central and South America. And if you've heard of the teachings of Don Juan by Carlos Castaneda, Don Juan Matus was his name, was a Toltec shaman. And Carlos Castaneda became a Toltec shaman in the process of writing those books. And he had an apprenticeship with Don Juan Matus. And then the 4 Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz, he's a Toltec shaman, right? And it's an ancient wisdom. And this psychologist, Vanita is her name, she had, because her father was a Toltec shaman, she had been going to other realities and other worlds and experiencing things that just were, for most people, way beyond belief because of this ancient tradition and what shamans, I don't know the plural of shaman, what they do in really every tribal society, and that is they have information that is real. And it's, yes, other realities, as quantum physics describes, there are multiple universes within this particular universe that are existing at the same time. And so for her, what I had experienced was, oh, that's nothing. That's nothing. And she's the one that said, Walter, you're not crazy. You're psychic. You're psychic. And that was the moment that made me realize, especially in her follow-up, that, yeah, dude, the proof that you're psychic is that you found in the spirit world these 2 imaginary friends, which not only comforted you in the orphanage and the years of abuse afterwards, but who also are the very reason that you're finally seeking some help. They were the reason that I finally got healed.
Did everything start clicking for you when she explained to you what was going on?
No.
All start making sense, or was that like a continued
Yeah,
journey
it was a journey, right? Because, for most of us, when we start therapy, I don't think we want to admit that we need some help. We don't want to admit that we're a statistic of some kind. And the thing that she really brought into my awareness was, Walter, you were abused. And I didn't want to hear that. Don't tell me that, because then I'm just a statistic. And then it's like, oh, well, yeah, I probably am messed up if I was abused, right? And but that is so very empowering to realize what happened and to find tools, techniques, and information to overcome it. And in this case, the main thing was to just realize that, yeah, you're psychic and that's how you took care of yourself. And for me, the important part of this, why I really want what I want people to get from the book is that we're all psychic. We're all psychic. We've all had experiences like this. And if we pay attention, we can benefit. We can get inspiration. We can get guidance, and we can get peace and comfort, and we can find love in the spirit world. And it exists. It's one of any shaman on the planet is going to tell you. It exists right here and now at the same time. One of the things a shaman can do is to be in two places at once. And most of us who are empathic, intuitive, psychic on any level, we're aware that, yeah, I'm there, but I'm also here at the same time.
Right. When I first learned that and felt it so true to my being, I kind of freaked out a little bit. Like it was an explosion, right? How do you even comprehend that's a possibility? But it became more comfortable, definitely.
Yeah.
You talk about your two imaginary friends and meeting them down the path of your life much later in human form, not just in the spirit world. That's so fascinating to me. I've never heard anyone have that experience. They've had like deja vu, like, oh, I have a knowing of you. I know you're familiar to me and I don't know why, but you actually figured it out and knew why. And you had not just one, but two. So both of these people came to you in a different reality or multi-dimension. Like I don't understand how that worked, how they were with you, imaginary friends, to being in flesh and blood later in your life.
Gosh, AJ, me neither. Right. And that was the thing that made me question my own sanity. How is this possible? And then also made me question whether I was somehow violating them or violating their privacy by having this information on them. And in both cases, I was able to tell them things that they had never told another soul. And it was both beautiful and horrific at the same time. It was beautiful at first in that sense of, like you mentioned, they and I, before I heard details, there was this sense of recognition. You're familiar. I know you. You feel really good to me. You feel safe. And I feel like I've always known you. And but then Maria, the accident girl, when she started telling me about the accident, I finished the story for her. And then in the course of a few weeks, told her things that she had never told another person. And that relatively soon after that, weeks after I had told her these things, freaked her out. And she felt amazingly emotionally violated, creepy, because you just never know, and this was before the internet, but just, you never know where this person got this information, this person, Walter, right? How creepy is that? And so then we had gotten really close, just love, so much love because of this automatic connection, and then having gotten to know each other. But then she just freaked out because there was no way she could explain my knowledge, the things I knew about her, or even who I was, to herself or to her friends or to her family. And she completely severed the connection, and I never heard from her again. And then that was the horrific part, because it was almost as devastating as arriving at the orphanage that first day, because this had been my link to who Walter was, my link to little Walter, and yet now gone, right? And so that was the part that made me seek the help, and that was the coolest thing I ever did for myself. And it's that was my therapy ended well over 20 years ago, but I'm still using those techniques in my own life, and I use them in pretty much every session that I do with a client, is to help them in their understanding of themselves, to help them overcome what they went through.
Yeah. I am happy for you that you made the choice to go to therapy.
Me too.
And work through all of these really big events that you went through. We'll continue Walter's journey story when we return from the break. Stay close.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Welcome to the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, thekgradb.com. Here you'll find great new content, including the KGRA classics, great shows from our archives. You'll be able to see the show times and information so you can see what show is currently on air. The on-air live button. So just go to this section and you'll be able to hear the show live with exceptional sound quality. We also have the Vault section. Make sure to subscribe to get access to great content and special features. We have the make content for our latest news and events, so make sure to sign up and you can be part of our forum. So make sure to check out the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, thekgradb.com. We look forward to seeing you there, and we hope that you enjoy the new website.
To Soul Wanderings, I am AJ. Tonight we are wandering with Walter Zajac. He is a Reiki master, NLP coach, love coach, and author. And quite a journey you have led so far. I want to get right back into what we were talking to before the break, and that was your experiences with your imaginary / real life friends.
Yeah.
You laugh a lot like I do. I noticed that about you.
Yeah.
Side note, but In your experiences of, having to leave your mother and arrive at an orphanage, these imaginary friends showed up for you in a time where you really needed them through a phase of abandonment with your family, but then also later down the road in life, they were there and then they weren't, which probably brought up a lot of emotions and feelings around abandonment with you. How did you work through abandonment issues with your therapist?
Loving little Walter, like I described, because if I have 5-year-old Walter in my life, essentially I'm never alone. I've always got a companion. Plus, I've got a companion who knows me and understands me like nobody else ever could.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's what I teach.
So big to wrap your head around. So simple, right?
Yeah.
But so big. Like if we all just had our little versions of ourselves, so we would realize we were never alone. Not only that, but you find that in other ways, but especially that.
And the main thing that I have noticed in everybody and in myself, and what my psychologist pointed out back then, is when we're 5 years old and younger, we're innocent, we're precious, we're sweet, and we have insight because we're still close to where we came from, the spirit world. We just want to be loved more than anything else. And having that companion of this little guy who is those things, oh my God, he's beautiful, I love him, then that really helps me with any abandonment issues, right? But I'm sure, like in your own life, and so many people in our audience know, the things that the pain from the past, it's still going to come up. You're going to get reminders of it, but it doesn't incapacitate you anymore. And the biggest, most effective tool for me for not having it incapacitate me anymore was little Walter, having little Walter as a buddy. And then I want to say this. Einstein said over 100 years ago, there is no time. And that's been proven scientifically ever since. And so little Walter, little AJ actually still exist. And you can have an ongoing relationship with them.
Right. And then in that way, you always have and know love.
Yeah.
For those of you who are out there feeling like I am all alone, I have nobody loves me, that is so untrue. Those are stories that we tell ourselves.
Yep.
The fact is that we are loved and we are loved.
Another way that I like to look at it is when I was reading the Carlos Castaneda books, The Teachings of Don Juan. There's a series of 9 or 10. One of the things that really hit me beautifully was how Don Juan, the shaman, handled loneliness. And that is, and I'm going to look outside because I can see the sky here. Look at the horizon of the earth and the sky. And you can do this whether it's nighttime or daytime, and realize that you're on top of the earth. And you're not alone. The earth is your friend. The earth is a living, sentient being. In case people don't know what sentient means, it's intelligent. It has an intelligence. It has a conscience. And when you feel that, just talking about it, I'm feeling it. I'm getting a full body chill. You can feel the power of the earth by simply looking at the horizon and the sky, maybe unfocusing a little bit and feeling. The earth is a living, sentient being. And Don Juan says, how could I ever be alone? I have the earth.
We are never alone. That's the thing. But looking back in my past versions of myself, I remember sitting and feeling deathly alone. That despair of I am completely alone.
Yeah.
I love being able to look back to that version of myself and sending myself love from where I'm at now.
Beautiful. I like that.
Don't feel that way anymore. And it's so comforting to know in my heart that that is not accurate or real for me whatsoever.
Beautiful. I like that.
Thank you. I like everything you're saying. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy. And I was telling my producer during the break, am I even making sense? Because I feel like I'm floating on a cloud. Your
Wow.
energy just feels so comfortable and soothing to me. And I know we're not talking necessarily about warm and fuzzy things, but energy is energy, and it just
Yeah.
feels really comforting and beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. You feel totally comfortable to me too. I feel safe. And I love how you're so very interested and you're making me feel good about myself. Thank you.
Good. I want that for you. I really do. I think that's great. We have a couple of questions from the chat room I want to get to before I continue asking my own, just because we like our listeners to have their experience too. One of the questions is, did you experience more turmoil after stepping into your power? Stepping into you and your abilities and things like that?
Yes. Yeah, and that seems to be a common theme. And my observation is nobody's working against us. Nobody's putting stuff into our lives. We're putting stuff into our lives because we are creators and based on what we choose to experience. And what I've noticed is a common pattern in my life and in the lives of people I work with, help, is that once we've decided to take our power and reach a new level of self-confidence, then somehow, whether it's conscious or subconscious, we want to test it. Did I really do it? Right? And so that's where I think this listener is tuning into. And I get the feeling from this listener that absolutely that happened to him or her. Right?
You're probably correct in that. There was a follow-up comment/question in her previous question that you just answered. And she had mentioned that she's been going through some heavy experiences lately and she's trying to see the good in them, but it's very difficult in the moment. And she's just seeking out guidance and wondering how she can work through that.
Fun.
Yeah.
Figure out some way to make this moment fun. There's always a way, even if it's looking outside and seeing a crow fly by. Oh, that's fun. Flying. Imagine flying, right? Just anything to make this moment fun. One of the things that I do is, as they say here in Hollywood, talking to dead people, right? Psychic medium. And just to give this credibility before I talk about this, when I do a psychic medium session, if let's say I'm tuning into Uncle Bob, who died, for Susan, who's on the phone with me, I ask Uncle Bob for 3 things to connect them. Things that were Susan's favorites, Bob's favorites, or moments that they had where they really connected. And once I get those 3 things, then Susan is, oh my God, that's Uncle Bob, right? And then the tears start to flow and they feel the connection, and I usually end up crying too. But the reason I wanted to give this legitimacy is I don't go on unless I can prove that it really is Uncle Bob. I give them their money back, and that hardly ever happens because I've been doing this for a while. But my point is, consistently, what I hear from all the Uncle Bobs and Aunt Ruths in the world on the other side is, oh my God, I didn't love you enough. I didn't have enough love. I didn't spend enough time loving. I didn't spend enough time with the people that I love, and I didn't have enough fun. And I'm saying that so passionately because they can't fix those things once they've died. Can't fix those things. They're still trying to communicate to Susan that I'm here, have fun, love. I wish I could have loved you more, right? But Susan, like me and you and most of us, well, we don't really want to see a spirit in the room. We don't want to hear voices, right? So we suppress that stuff. And Uncle Bob doesn't get heard. Nobody's been listening. Right. But the whole point is, consistently what I hear from the other side is fun, love. That's the secret to all the stuff you're going through. And then in order to, give a catalyst to fun and love, gratitude. being grateful for anything in the moment. Like, okay, I'm glad there's a crow just flying and giving me inspiration of, yeah, there's a sense of freedom somehow, some way. Or I'm glad that the sky is blue. I'm glad that there are flowers and trees. Anything to be grateful for. And especially if you're in a very difficult situation with a person, to be grateful for anything about that person. Let's say it's a love relationship and it's gotten really bad. Go back to, and I'm speaking to the person who wrote the question, because this is what I'm feeling. Go back to how it was at the beginning of the relationship. And what we do at the beginning is just, we're profuse with, oh my God, you're so awesome. I like this about you. I like that about you. And oh my God, I like you. And at some point we stop doing that. And even if you're having difficulty, if you go to a place again of feeling those things that you were grateful for about this person at the beginning, or even grateful for about things recently, then your heart opens up. And usually when we open our heart, make ourselves vulnerable, the other people respond in kind. And that's how to deal with the hard stuff that's going on right now, is to figure out how to make it fun, figure out how to bring love into the situation, and especially gratitude.
Yeah. Especially gratitude.
Especially, that's the key. Gratitude is the antidote to emotional pain. Gratitude is the antidote to fear. If you're scared about something and yet you find things to be grateful about in that situation, it literally reduces your fear, which then allows you to be open, which then gives you clarity. And then as a result, we are able to make better choices if we have clarity.
You speak of forgiveness in this way, or I mean, gratitude in this way, but how do you feel about forgiveness?
It's the same. It's what I've
That's
used.
why I asked.
It's what I've used in forgiving the adopted parents who abused me, in forgiving my alcoholic father, in forgiving my mama who died, because I was angry at her for years, because as a child I didn't understand. I was angry that she left. But yeah, gratitude for the things that they did bring into my life. Even the abusive parents, there was cool stuff that they brought into my life. And when I think about that and say, thank you, then I'm forgiving without even thinking of the concept of forgiving. And yet I'm forgiving because by having the gratitude, my heart's open to them. And isn't that forgiveness?
I was curious on your take with that, and what a beautiful response.
Thank you.
I feel like gratitude has been a catalyst in my forgiveness journey as well.
Yeah, cool.
In order for me to move on in my current and my future life, forgiveness has been at the top of my list, so I can let go of those experiences that have brought me so much pain. And a lot of them were out of my control, caused by others.
Yeah.
And because of that, forgiveness had to be at the top of that list. I had to work on that for myself. And I learned that by having gratitude for what they taught me, what they allowed me to experience, brought the forgiveness into
Beautiful.
the experience.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's interesting how it works. It seems that it wouldn't, or it's impossible that it would work that way, but it's such a beautiful alchemy that occurs when it does.
I would like to just connect some dots for the audience, and that is, when we don't show gratitude, when we're not able to forgive, that person, that situation has our power.
Yes.
We don't have our power, and there's just no way that we can be happy in the moment. And yet, if we can, like you say, figure out some way to be grateful about something about that person or the situation, then they don't have all of our power, and maybe none of it. And for most of us, that's pretty darned important, being able to feel like I have my power, I have control over my choices, over my life.
Yeah.
And when I say power, I don't mean power over other people. I mean power over the fact that, yeah, I'm the one making choices. I want the power to make good choices
Yes.
for me and for others.
Yes. Yes. I agree. We have another question in the chat room. Is trauma in the eyes of the beholder?
Yes, everything's in the eyes of the beholder. One of my favorite things to bring into conversations and into my own world is quantum physics. I've read 3 books on quantum physics, one of which I recommend to everybody in the audience. It's called The Holographic Universe. And I'll maybe get into that if we have time, but it'll change your world. It's essentially a new theory of existence based on the fact that the universe and everything in it seems to be constructed the way that a hologram is constructed. And in a hologram, it's composed of frequencies. Hologram, everything is frequencies according to quantum physics. And a hologram becomes all the frequencies in a hologram become one wave interference pattern, one pattern that distributes itself equally throughout the space of the hologram, so that you can go into any one small area of the hologram and you have the information of the whole, of the entire thing. And scientists, quantum physicists are beginning to believe more and more that that's how the universe is constructed. And then quantum physics also has over and over proven scientifically that each time you turn around, you just created the physical reality that you're seeing. There's raw information out there for you to choose from and to create. But each time you turn around, you just created it. The next time you turn around, you'll see stuff you didn't see the first time because you didn't create it the first time. And so quantum physicists, I love that word. This is like, yeah, hard. That's one that makes me giggle always, because you always sound just a little bit physicist. The new reality, the new theory is that, yeah, we absolutely create our entire reality every single moment. So, yeah, trauma is based on our own perception. And here's the cool part, the empowering part. Well, yeah, if that's your perception, then you can change your perception, which then changes the trauma, just like what you've done, what I've done. It's still there. We still have the memories, and sometimes we'll feel the pain, but it doesn't rule us.
Right. It doesn't control us anymore. That's empowering to me.
Yeah. So that was a good question, listener.
Yes, great question. I do have to thank the listeners in the chat rooms. You guys are awesome. Totally appreciate your support showing up every week. And I love that you just keep learning and experiencing and being inspired every time. We have great guests, and you are in that line of wonderful humans, Walter. Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. I feel the same about you. We have a mutual admiration society going on here.
Thank you. I love it so much. It makes my heart feel full.
Well, and then let me just say this, like we're talking about vulnerability. You inspire me because of what you've been through. And not only did you recover, and not only are you sharing that in individual sessions with people, and also your store vibes, which I checked out, and the classes that you have there. But on top of that, you're willing to take your vulnerability and make it a radio show every week. That's huge. It's really huge. It's like you're putting yourself out there in the most beautiful, vulnerable way every week. And that is inspiring as hell. It really is. It's why you have so many listeners, why your show is successful.
Thank you. That really means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I love hearing things like that because I know I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing. I listen. And when I listen, when Spirit tells me, guides me, I just listen. I just feel like I will have the best life and always be blessed if I continue to have my heart open, regardless of the experience, because I'll learn something from every single experience that I have.
That's beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
It is really neat. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I have another question for you from
Yes.
our listeners. They want to know if your friends on the other side use vocal or telepathy for communication.
Not quite understanding. Do people that I perceive on the other side, do they do what for communication?
I'm assuming they're asking how you receive the communication from spirit. Are they vocal with you, or is it
Oh, okay.
through the voice, or is it
Yeah.
through telepathy?
Yes and yes. It's
Both.
both. It's both. And then maybe you've experienced this. It's what I hear from other psychics I've talked to. And that is the main and most important information is the feelings that I get. And the feelings are descriptive on many multiple levels. And in the feelings, sometimes I hear sentences. And then sometimes I hear voices. Sometimes I smell things, and almost always I see events happening. But the main part of the information is what I'm feeling. And it's something that, one of the things that I do is help people interpret the dreams that they're having. And it's one of the main things that just like psychic information, the main information in your dream is what are you feeling? Not necessarily what the symbols are showing you, but what are you feeling? And especially what are you feeling about the symbols? Because the symbols, like say it's a bear, that'll mean something different to everybody. So what you feel is then what it means to you.
Yeah. Isn't that what matters, though? Because each of us are having our own human experience. Whether it's here physically or in our dreams, it's ours. And I've always struggled with, because let me share an experience where I'm in my shop and people come in and say, I just went to so and so and they told me I need to do this and get this stone, and I have to smudge this way, and I have to do, and I always have to take a deep breath, because when people start putting rules on spirituality, that's religion to me. And I don't believe that we should be telling people how to use a crystal or how to smudge their space. This is something you do intuitively. You trust your own intuition. And going back, like trusting ourselves, being in the moment with ourselves. What everyone else is saying it should look like or be like is irrelevant. This is our human experience. Others can inspire you, uplift you, show you what you want to be, show you what you don't want to be, but ultimately this is ours.
Yeah, I agree. That's my observation. That's also my understanding of quantum physics, not just from a spiritual and emotional perspective, but even from a physical perspective. Quantum physics says that every time you look at the night sky, you just created it. Mm-hmm. You're that powerful. The raw information is there, but the way that you're seeing it, you just created the physical reality. The person standing next to you doesn't see what you created. They're creating their own, and they're going to see it completely differently than you usually. At least some things they'll see differently. Then the next time you look, just like turning around, the next time you look, you'll create different stuff. It's there as raw information. Yeah. We're not the one that's creating it, and yet we are, because we're selecting what we want to perceive. And so, that's my observation about everybody's human experiences. My normal would never be yours, and I can't ever actually understand your normal. I can try based on what I experienced, and yet, no, it's yours. It's entirely yours, and actually, that's a beautiful thing, because it to me, it's powerful to realize that, I'm actually in complete control of this. I can have the good time I want if I want to, and it's mine, and I don't have to worry about what Susan is thinking about my reality. It's mine. I'm having a good time. And if Susan doesn't want to have a good time, that's her reality.
Right. I think it's so neat that we're talking about this, and you were talking about choices earlier. I was having a conversation with myself as I do, because I'm nuts,
Yes.
but not really. I feel nuts sometimes anyway.
Mhm.
Conversations with myself in the morning. I have this opportunity to have alone time for a couple of hours every morning, and it's great for meditation and
Cool. Beautiful.
playing with my crystals, things like that. So
Yeah.
self and I were having conversation, and today it was on choices.
Yeah.
And I'm having this inner dialogue in my thoughts of choices and how we always have a choice. It doesn't matter what it is, everything comes down to us making a choice. And I had a conversation recently where someone's like, no, someone's going to do this. And I don't want that to happen for me, insert whatever experience. That wasn't my choice that they chose to do that. But in my head, I'm having this conversation. No, but how you react to it is a choice. Everything comes down to a choice. You are the creator, as you said earlier, of your own experience. And it always comes down to what you choose for it to be.
Yeah.
People are going to do things to you that are going to hurt you. They're going to do things that are going to make you feel loved. And you just, either way, get to choose how you receive either one.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. And then that's where what I talked about earlier, where choosing to be happy, to have fun, to find the love in the moment, or to find the gratitude in the moment, that changes how we respond to the moment. And like you're saying, stuff's still going to happen. And part of the reason that stuff happens is because we subconsciously, most of the time, we choose these challenges to overcome. So yeah, stuff's going to happen, but most of us, not all of us, but most of us get better and better at handling stuff, right? Because we gain experience, and then we also gain confidence of, okay, well, I got over those things. I can get over this one too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's absolutely, totally unique. And then also, I'm sure you've noticed it. My life is as traumatic, your life as traumatic as it has been normal. What life do I have to compare it to? Like I don't really know your life. I can maybe say that, yeah, mine was different, but I don't know what normal is, because that's all I've ever experienced is my normal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And for all of us, normal is usually pretty twisted. Yeah.
I laugh because it's so true. I don't. Anytime someone says, "Well, that's not normal," well, what are you comparing it to? I
Yeah.
want to know what
Yeah.
is normal. What does that look like?
Yeah. Yeah.
It really doesn't make any sense to me. But I also have noticed. I just turned 45. Yesterday? No, what's today? Wednesday, Sunday, just a couple of days ago.
Cool. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Congratulations on being old. You've made it this far.
I know, and that's the thing, that's where I was going with this.
Yeah.
I was very nostalgic on Sunday, just thinking when I was younger how 45 just seems so far away, and I don't know if I'll ever make it to 45. I'll probably be dead by 45. You go through all of these, the talk that you have with yourself, and I was in so much gratitude all day on my birthday, just soaking in
Cool.
every single experience that I could recall to memory in that moment. And I was tearing up on and off all day, just so thankful
Yeah.
that I have gone through all that I've gone through. And even and especially for the icky stuff. I feel like I could get through anything with the beliefs and the truth that I know now compared to, previous times in my life. Like
Yeah.
I think getting older is so awesome. And it's such a gift, and it's so amazing that we get this opportunity to do so. And you talk about being older and getting older a few times tonight, and I think, wow, but you're so blessed. You're so lucky because you have had all of these amazing experiences, and now you're sharing your experiences with the world, and you were inspired to write a book about your experience so you could share even more. And I just think it's really neat that you've just taken life on the way that you have, and
Thank you.
you made that choice to empower and inspire others instead of staying in a place that didn't suit you, that wasn't healthy for you, that in that darker victim mentality space.
Yeah.
I just think it's really neat when humans show up for themselves that way, because in return, we also get the blessings of you doing the work.
Yeah.
You are sharing it with all of us.
Thank you.
What did inspire you to write your book?
My therapy, which was happening when I was your age. And I was reunited with my half brother and half sister, and actually my biological father.
Wow.
When I was 23, this was years before my therapy. And on that trip, all three of them confirmed all of these detailed memories that I had about my childhood. And one of the things that came out was, yeah, my memories were the only thing I had to hang on to. And so I hung on to them in detail. And then they filled in a lot of memories. And then, what was it? About 20 years later, I started my therapy, and towards the end of my therapy, I decided I need to go back to Germany, to the orphanage, to the apartment where I was born, and relive what happened in order to understand what happened to little Walter, and to be able to really take my power by essentially reliving it from a different perspective. And then the original incentive was, I just need to write this down for me so I can remember it all. And then also being amazed by how much I remembered. And then as I got into writing it, I started it 1995, however many years ago that was. I finished it a couple of years ago. But as I started it, I realized, well, yeah, this can help other people. And it's something that my psychologist encouraged me to do too. Write your story down, help other people overcome their own stuff by just sharing what you've been through and how you figured it out. So that was the motivation for writing the book. And then people tell me here in Hollywood, I have friends in the film industry, people say, oh my God, this would make a fantastic movie because it's epic. It starts in war-torn Germany, and I end up having a relatively successful music career in Europe, and then went through this trauma and found my peace and my happiness, and found how to have fun in life, right? And found how to be grateful for stuff. And to me, then that's the most important part of the book, is to just help people overcome their own trauma, to figure out ways to love themselves, and to be aware that, oh my God, all of us get psychic information on a constant basis, and all you have to do is be aware of it, and you can find your peace, your happiness, your self-love, and especially get guidance on making those choices.
Mm-hmm. What are some ways that you have others, like an exercise or a suggestion that you give to others to let loose a little bit and have that fun that you're referring to? Because some of us really take life pretty seriously.
It's one of my favorite quotes. It's from a poet named Albert Hubbard, who was an American poet in the 1800s. He says, "Don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out of it alive." And to me, that says, yeah, if you're going to have fun now, right? put it off. Why would you put it off? And that's what most of us tend to do. And I'm sure many in the audience have read this, that, okay, I'm going to be happy after I graduate from high school. Okay, I'm going to be happy after I get my college degree. Okay, I'm going to be happy when I find that perfect partner. Okay, I'm going to be happy when I find that great job. And caca, right? That's putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. Yeah. And happiness is now. And so, I'm like a broken record with clients, and that is, well, are you having fun? Do you feel good about this choice? Do these thoughts make you feel good? Do these thoughts make you feel happy? Do these thoughts make you feel comfortable and at peace? And that's it. Just like you're saying with talking to AJ this morning. Choices, right? Yeah. Do the choices that you're making make you feel good about yourself? It's that simple. And if they don't, literally change your thought. It's that simple. Wayne Dyer loved to say this. It's just a little switch. It's effortless from one thought to the other thought, a different thought.
Yeah. It always feels easier said than done.
Yeah.
Right? We say that. Just flip your thoughts. Make a different choice.
Yep.
In the moment, it doesn't feel that simple. But
I
believe it's a practice. Yeah.
That's the journey, right? And that's why you have inspiration for people, because of the journey. Because, okay, maybe in one aha moment you can get it, but then implementing it into our lives, that's a whole different story. Yeah. Because we have these habits of even thought habits, and in my case, a lifetime until my 40s of seeing myself as a victim, just automatically going there, automatically going to a place of the universe is messing with me. People are messing with me. And, my goodness, people used to tell me at that point in my life about reincarnation. And I thought, are you kidding? Why would I ever want to come back here? Are you kidding? This place sucks.
I still say that.
Yeah. But then in the journey, I began to realize that, well, it's about the journey. It's what you hear, right? It's not about the goal. It's about the journey and the experience in order to understand ourselves better. And in doing so, to uplift ourselves. And like I said earlier, we end up uplifting the entirety of creation, the mass consciousness. Every time that we, Abraham Hicks, the teachings of Abraham, they love to talk about the fact that we are on the leading edge of experience. We are the brave ones, taking on those challenges and overcoming those challenges. And we literally are raising mass consciousness and mass understanding and bringing more love and understanding into the world just through our journey.
Yeah, just by being here.
Just by having the journey, right? And you have the enlightened moment, the aha. What is that called? Epiphany. Love that word. And yet implementing is a whole different story, right? And so you were asking how I relate to clients. I'm like a broken record. Dude, fun. Figure out a way to make it fun. Figure out a way to be grateful about that guy or that woman. Mm-hmm. Fun and love. Right?
That's my answer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they're sort of all intertwined, fun and love and happiness and power, right? It's like once you change to any one of those, the others come with, and you're having a better moment. And like I said, this moment is all we ever have. This moment, that's it. It's the only time we can make choices. It's the only time we have power. It's the only time we can be happy. Now.
Here and right now. And right now.
Yeah.
And right now.
Then that's also, like we're giggling about it, but that's also the beautiful part about it, because if 3 moments ago I had a really awful thought, okay, it's gone. I'm fine. I'm fine now, right? I don't have to let it incapacitate me.
Yeah.
I can, and I used to.
Right. And it all comes to that choice that you keep talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. When you wrote your book, do you feel like you have a favorite part of the book that you shared that you were the most excited about?
The ending. The ending, which of
Don't
course
have to
is
get
what
the
makes a
book.
good novel, right? And throughout the book, the very first scene is of a repetitive dream that I had throughout my childhood of being chased and having my power be completely taken away by a man who was dressed completely in black. And in this nightmare, I was 5 or 6 years old, playing in the hallway in our apartment building in Germany, near the door to the cellar, and the door was partly open and there was no light on in the cellar, and it was complete blackness, darkness at the bottom. And suddenly I heard this voice, Walter. Full body chill, Walter, coming from the darkness, the bottom of the stairs. And I couldn't move. Walter. Then I was lifted up and I was floating down the stairs to this man in black who just scared the crap out of me. I didn't know what to do. And powerless, right? Couldn't move, floating to him. And this happened, I think, day after day for years and years, over and over and over. And eventually the dream would develop, and eventually I would get to the bottom of the stairs, but then he would be able to run away from him, but he would chase me. And the last scene in the book is me figuring out, who was that? What was the purpose of this? And that's my favorite scene because it's coming full circle. It's really understanding our psychic ability, really understanding life and understanding who I am, who I was, and then how I was there for myself all along.
Yeah. You say you would love to have this book turn into a movie.
It's going to be. I know it. I don't have a deal yet, but I know it. As a psychic, I feel it, and I've had other psychics tell me, yeah, man, that's happening. And my friend Joseph, who's a film composer, said it's probably going to be a mini series because it would be way too long for a movie.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be front row for that one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really, it's your life story is like none I've ever heard before. It's interesting in the fact that the things that you went through are not like common stories that you would hear from day to day. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it captures your attention as a human because we're like, but wait, what happened? Then what happened? Especially the part that you had imaginary friends that ended up being real friends, real human friends. That still just trips me out.
Me too.
Yeah.
And when I was interacting with them and seeing these things and literally had a relationship, I loved them deeply, 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 because in the orphanage, I didn't have any other companions. And my gosh, every once in a while I did. There was a girl named Heidi that I write about in the book, but she and I were close, and there wasn't anybody else that I was close to. But then Heidi got adopted. I never saw her again. And so my imaginary friends were literally all I had. And then I lived in that world, which then I found out later was the spirit world. It wasn't imaginary. It was actually happening. Yeah. And it was happening 15 years before they were born in both cases.
See, that's, I was just going to say, but they weren't even born yet.
Yeah.
This is part of what trips me out so much. It's just, it's so neat how it all works out. And I've heard stories that are similar, but definitely different. And, you know, the world is just full. I mean, we have so many questions as humans on all of these things that occur in the universe. And there are questions that we'll never have answered in this lifetime. Like a lot of things just won't make sense here and now. And maybe on the other side of this, we'll get those answers, or we'll have our memory reinstated. There's so many ideas of what will happen when we're done with this human experience, right?
I want to talk about that
I
because
was going to say, what's your opinion on that?
thank you. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
What I'm here for.
I know. That's your job. So, and you're good. You're really good. You're asking great questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In my studying near-death experiences, reading those books, and in my own talking to dead people, as they say in Hollywood, and then especially Dannion Brinkley, who died and came back to life 3 different times. It's consistent in the near-death experience research books, and that is when we go to the light, we have, if we stay, and so, the ones who had the near-death experience didn't stay. It came back, right? But if we stay, and then some of these experience it and then come back, we have what is called a panoramic life review. And the Christians have taken that to be Judgment Day, where this vicious God, who is really pretty mean, is going to decide whether you're banned to all eternity for hell or you get to hang here. Right. But that's been misinterpreted. The experience that near-death experiencers have is in this panoramic life review, you experience every single moment of the life that you just lived, but from the perspective of the people that you affected. You feel what they felt when you said that. And not to punish you or to reward you in the case of good stuff that you did, but only for the reason of understanding, which is why we came here in the first place, to understand better who we are in our true essence, to understand the experiences that we had, to understand how other people affected us, how we affected them, and therefore to understand life and to understand our true essence as being created in the image and likeness of the Creator. Goddess. I like to think of God as feminine energy, because that, oh my God, that traditional God, in especially the Christian world, I can't imagine that being, well, and then you said it earlier, God is love. How can he be a vicious, judgmental dude?
Yeah, and I don't even look at God as a man or a woman, although I say, oh my goddess, all the time.
See?
Well, because women have this ability and capacity to love like no other.
Mm-hmm.
Women
Oh, yes.
love so differently, on such a different vibration than any man I've ever met. And it's not a sexist thing. It's not because I'm a woman and I feel that way. I feel that to be true from my experiences as a witness.
I agree with you 100%, actually. Most of my clients are women, and my observation is it's usually women who are interested in improving their own lives, interested in understanding, interested in finding more love, interested in spreading love. Men have a tendency to be more interested in taking their power in a physical way, not an emotional or spiritual way, taking their power. And yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Women, to me, they're my favorite thing on the planet. And, of course, there are women who are bitches. That happens. But generally, women are far more sensitive, far more loving, far more nurturing, less judgmental, more open, more accepting, more loving. And, my observation has been, oh my gosh, if women actually ruled the world instead of men, it would be a far, far more beautiful place.
I have thought that and have even said it out loud.
Yeah.
We're not just emotional creatures. There's emotional intelligence behind the emotions and the things that we feel.
Yeah. And, my goodness, women are the first teachers of the children. They are the nurturers. They are the life givers in every way, not just the physical way of having created this child in the 9 months it was in the womb, but in interacting in the, oh my God, you're so cute, and oh my God, you're beautiful, right? The love, 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 love. And then fun. Don't most mothers want to make their child giggle? And oh my God, he smiled at me, right? It's like the biggest moment. That's women usually, right? And I love it. And men, There are some men like that, but it's less common for men to be that sensitive and that open about being loving.
Yes. It's one of my favorite things witnessing a man in that space. However, just being the nurturing and
It's beautiful.
vulnerable and emotional being that they're capable of being, but don't allow themselves to be.
Yep.
I think it's magical.
I do too. Yeah. And all of my male clients are that way. And it's just, oh God, thank you. It's just, I treasure you. Thank you for having the courage to be different.
Yes. And you say most of your clientele are female. Most of my clientele are male. I work with males
Beautiful.
through PTSD and trauma and emotional release.
Beautiful.
And I know that in the moment for them it's a lot, but I get so many blessings. I receive so much from them showing up for themselves. I have no words. I really don't. When men heal,
Yeah.
it's the most amazing and beautiful things. I just
Yeah.
think it's so good. I could eat it for breakfast.
I love that. Yes. And I totally get it. I really
It
do.
fuels me.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Walter, I want to make sure we still have about 5 minutes or so, but I just want to make sure everyone knows how to get in touch with you, how they can connect with you. Do you take clients over the phone or Zoom or anything like that?
Yeah. I have a website, psychicwalter.com, where people can find out everything about the services that I offer and make an appointment. And the process works. I have an online calendar where people can make an appointment and an appointment for the various services that I offer. And then I also have walterzajac.com, which is centered around the book. And then the book you can find on Amazon. The book is called They Came. The subtitle is Beyond Deja Vu. And it's available as a paperback, as a Kindle, and as an audiobook with me narrating it.
I was going to say, I started listening to the Audible version
did?
and I knew it was your voice.
Cool.
I did. I didn't receive the book in time and I really wanted.
Oh, wow.
I like to read the book after I meet with the guest, to be quite honest. I don't normally read them before because I like the organic conversation. But I was fascinated by your story. So I was like, I'm just going to grab it. So I have the physical book coming, but I downloaded the audio version because I couldn't wait.
Cool. Thank you.
Support.
Yay, huh? Thank you.
Yes, of course. Because we do have a few minutes before the show ends, I want to make sure that you share with us any last inspirational words of wisdom, quotes, books, anything you feel like would help us in our healing experiences.
Thank you. It's a repeat of what I said earlier a few times, but it's what I emphasize in every session with a client and what I emphasize literally in every moment of my life. And that is, are you having fun? Are you having fun? And if not, why? Why? And if not now, when? Have fun, have fun, have fun, have fun. Figure out a way to have fun. And like I said, the most effective way to do that is to figure out something to be grateful about. There's always something to be grateful about in any situation or with a person. Being grateful. And then when we're doing that, then we are opening ourselves up to the love that we feel just being in the universe, feeling that love, and then the love that we feel from somebody else. And one of my favorite things is to recognize that when we look into somebody's eyes, especially if it's a close friend or somebody that we're in love with, through their eyes, like when we look into our lover's eyes, we feel this euphoria. We're floating. What is that? Yeah, it's love, right? But what are we really tuning into? And my perception is, they say the eyes are the mirror of the soul. I believe that we're tuning into the universe, to the ultimate love, to God, Goddess. through that person and through the recognition that we're all interconnected. We're all interconnected. And boy, is that becoming really dominant in the news, how interconnected all of us are with what's going on in this war in Ukraine. Not just economically, but oh my God, we're all feeling it. And especially because literally, with nuclear capability, the entire planet is threatened with this thing. So boy, are we recognizing that, oh my God, we're all in this together.
Most of us are recognizing that, yes.
Yeah.
And
that's
the ones that are, we can be the ripple effect.
Yes. Yeah. And then that too is good because people are through that becoming more aware that in being connected, that, oh gosh, somehow, some way, we're all the same. We're all a part of this creation, and being in it together, we're here to help each other.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for your final thoughts.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your time. I just have so much gratitude for you. And like I said, I was looking forward to spending time with you. And I can't believe the 2 hours is gone and I just want more.
Oh, thank you so much, AJ. I had a great time. It was wonderful meeting you, getting to know you some. Thank you.
Thank you. I do hope that our paths cross again in the future. And
Probably.
if you have more to share or write another book or anything like that, you're always welcome to wander with us.
Thank you. Thank you, AJ.
Thank you, dear. And for those of you that have hung out with us tonight, hung out in the chat rooms, asked questions, and participated in conversation behind the scenes, I see you. Thank you so much for being here and supporting our guest tonight, Walter Zajac, and myself and the show and the station, kgradb.com. You guys are the best. I appreciate you. And I couldn't do it without my producers and the support here at KGRA. So much gratitude to all of you. And just to let you know, next week, our guest is going to be Karen V. Johnson, and she wrote a book about grief. It's called Living Grieving, Using Energy Medicine to Alchemize Grief and Loss. It was published by Hay House, and it is her first book, so we'll be wandering with her next week. I hope you join us, and we will see you then. Until then, be good to yourself and be good to each other. Good night.